Hello, and welcome to another edition of Good Deeds. It's brought to you by justserve.org. If you're looking for ways to make this a better community, to help people here in the Sacramento area through the many organizations that serve it, well, justserve.org is a wonderful place to start and get connected. Today, we are talking with Mike Pott from the El Dorado County Search and Rescue Team. Thank you for everything you're doing for our community, Mike.
Oh, you're more than welcome, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it is our pleasure, and I'm excited to learn more about what El Dorado County Search and Rescue does. Who is it that you serve, and what areas do you serve?
Well, we actually serve everybody in the state of California, but primarily here in El Dorado County. We work for the Sheriff's Department. We're part of the Sheriff's Department, and we're an all-volunteer group of about 135 members that go out in all types of weather and conditions, looking for lost people, stranded people, injured people.
You are literally saving lives with search and rescue teams.
We are, and the motto that we kind of adopted from the Coast Guard is "so others may live," and I think that applies to what we do.
Is there a time of year where your search and rescue teams are more active and you need more volunteer help than normal?
Well, summertime seems to be a little bit busier because more people are out in the wilderness, but we certainly are out there in the wintertime. Our Tahoe team especially does a lot of snow rescues up in that Tahoe Basin area.
You mentioned that summertime is very busy, and I know I've been on a lot of hikes up in the Tahoe region this summer. And while it is beautiful, in some areas it can get easy to get lost, and it's a little panicking. What are some things that you encourage every hiker to take out with them before they ever get out of the car and start on that hike? What should they have in their pack with them?
Well, first thing they need to do is get on the internet and do an internet search for the 10 essentials. A lot of documents out there and information, but you need to have a plan. You need to tell people where you're going. You need to have navigation besides your cell phone. Cell phone batteries die, so a good old-fashioned map and compass works great. You need to have food and water. You need to have extra layers of clothing in case you do get stuck out there at night. You can stay warm. Maybe some type of emergency bivy sack that they sell out there to help keep you warm if you have to spend a night out there. There's just a plethora of things out there that people need. Whistle could be helpful, things like that.
How concerned should people be about wildlife when they get out in these areas? Bears, wildcats, things like that.
Well, we certainly do have that in El Dorado County. Our black bears in our area will usually try to get out of your way. Mountain lions could be out there. You make lots of noise and do everything that Fish and Wildlife tells us to do when we're out backpacking is very helpful. But probably the one thing that maybe people don't think about all the time is actually rattlesnakes. They will try to scurry out of your way, but you could come upon them, step on them, and then you get bit by them, and then it's a whole new situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that I've encountered, especially this summer, as it's been so hot, you don't think about it being really hot up there in the mountains near Tahoe, but it can get really hot. And you can get dehydrated really fast. Extra water, more water than you think you need is what I've found.
Absolutely. Yeah, take more than you think, and maybe invest in a good water filter. It's kind of late in the season to find streams running, but you may come across the lake and you can always fill your water vessel up with filtered water if you're carrying a filter.
Yeah, that's also a good point. A filter for that water, because if you're drinking it straight out of the stream, it may look crystal clear and pure, but you can actually pick up some pretty serious illnesses from water out in nature.
Absolutely. Giardia is one of the things we think of. And, unfortunately with so many people going out in the backcountry now, there really isn't a pristine water source out there. So bring a filter or something you can treat with.
Yeah.
Excuse me, like pills, iodine pills, stuff like that.
Well, what are some of the ways that we, the community here in the Sacramento area, can best support the work that you do with the El Dorado County Search and Rescue? How could someone volunteer? And what are you looking for in volunteers? And what are some other ways to help?
So they certainly can join our team. We accept people all the time. We don't have a residency requirement. So if you live in maybe the Sacramento Valley, you can certainly join us as long as you can get to the search in a relatively decent amount of time. But we do have members from Placer, Sacramento, Amador, even Douglas County in Nevada that are part of our team that come in and help us. We do meetings every second Thursday Lately, though, we've either been on searches or fires or things like that. We've had to postpone them. But if you look at on the internet, go to edso.org. So do an internet search for that. That'll take you to the Sheriff's Department website. And down in the menu section, you can look up search and rescue. And it has a couple phone numbers in there for people to contact to get more information from our deputies and to find out about when we're meeting next. And it's a pretty simple process. You'll come into our meeting, introduce yourself, which we always kind of put people on the spot for that, but it's kind of fun. And after the meeting, they'll come get a packet of information. The one thing you need to think about if you're going to join us is you need to have first aid, basic first aid as a minimum, or CPR and CPR to start the process. And you go through a background check, and once you're through with that, you'll go into our Search and Rescue Academy. It's about 2 full weekends and a handful of weeknights to get your training, and that just gets you started as a ground searcher.
Fantastic. Now, if someone is wanting to donate to your efforts, can they donate supplies? Can they donate cash? How can they help in that way?
Well, we're all volunteer, and the volunteers pay for all their own gear and a lot of their equipment. So our OHV folks, they're using their own vehicles to do that. But we do have a lot of gear that can be damaged or perishable. Think of dry suits for our swiftwater team. Our technical rope rescue team has a lot of rope rescue gear that can be damaged. And we're always looking for donations to replace those items. So cash donations would be great. If you go to edsar.org, edsar.org, you can look at that website. It has a ton of information in there about our organization and a section to donate. So we're trying to be progressive. So PayPal, Venmo, things like that, we have that available for people to make it really easy for them to donate. And we do also have some fundraisers throughout the year. In January, we have our crab feed, which is a big success, usually about 500 people, sells out very quickly. And that's one of our big fundraisers. And lately, we've been doing a program called Fill the Pack, where we go out into high traffic community areas and have our backpacks there, and people will actually stuff our pack with donations that way. And it helps fund us. So we can, 1, replace our gear, and 2, we bring in outside teachers from around the nation to teach us the best practices in search and rescue, things that we necessarily don't have in-house.
That's great. Yeah, something to look forward to for sure. Well, thank you once again for everything you're doing to help people in this community and save lives. And thank you for being on Good Deeds.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thanks for having us.